Yep, that's right, as soon as I bought this little Mini I was inundated with messages asking for a comparison video between this and my previous car, the BMW M140i. Now I know what you're going to say, oh, well you can't compare those two cars, they're totally different. Well, you might be right, but I'm going to try my best to anyway. After all, they are kind of family, aren't they? Maybe like second cousins, something like that. I know most people probably go from a Mini to a BMW, but kitchens don't pay for themselves unfortunately. So I've gone about it the other way around, and I'm going to see whether or not the little 𝙁𝘾𝙀𝙊𝙆 can hold its own up against the M-Lite, which is a proper brute of a hot hatch. So, in this video I'll cover everything. Prices, power, handling, and I'll be able to tell you firsthand as someone who's now owned both of these cars what might suit you best. No mucking about, go grab yourself a cuppa, get sat down, and let's get into it. Now, I loved every minute of owning the M140i, apart from filling it up twice a week, so this Mini really has some big shoes to fill. I've owned it for a few weeks now, and I'm seriously impressed. Thing is though, there are a few places where it falls short of the M140i, as you'd expect. But even though it offers a wildly different experience behind the wheel, in some aspects it's a very close contest between the two cars. Which is surprising, as you'd probably assume the M-Lite would just walk any sort of comparison. From what I've seen on the forums, going from a 𝙁𝘾𝙀𝙁 to an M140i is a pretty common theme, but I was surprised at how many people have also made the switch going the other way as well. Hence why I'm making this video, because it might be useful to both sets of owners, or people who own something completely different but have these two vehicles in the shortlist. First off though, I just want to remind you that if you subscribe to the channel and leave a comment under this video, you will automatically be entered into the free monthly giveaway, where this month you can win a Gtechniq WM2 microfiber wash mitt and a bottle of Stjarnagloss Först citrus pre-cleaner, all thanks to the channel sponsor 𝙁𝘾𝙊𝙆. A winner will be picked at random and announced at the end of the month. Good luck. This is May's winner. Congratulations buddy, I'll be in touch. Don't worry if you don't win though. If you're in desperate need for some detailing products, get yourself over to the 𝙁𝘾𝙊𝙆 website and use the code lookship10 at checkout to get yourself 10% off over 2,000 different detailing products across their site. Right, back to it. I think the majority of people tuning in know the basics of both of these cars, but if you've had a bat around the head and you can't remember, let me quickly run you over the fundamentals. The F56 𝙁𝘾𝙀𝙁𝙁 Mini is a front-wheel drive hatch only available in a 3-door and produces around 230 brake horsepower and 236 foot-pounds of torque from a 2-litre 4-cylinder BMW engine known as the B48. Mine's a manual, but you can get them in automatic form as well. And top tip, if you want an auto, you might want to go for an LCI because they fitted the superior ZF8 gearbox from 2018 onwards, rather than the shitty 6-speed that they had in the earlier cars. The M140i is a rear-wheel drive hatch that came in either a 3 or a 5-door because people who have kids should be allowed to go fast too. The 3-litre 6-cylinder B58 engine in this produced 335 brake horsepower on paper and 369 foot-pounds of torque. Again, these were available in an auto and a manual, but you had to be on some kind of register to not get one in an automatic because they were so good. Going off those stats then, yes, obviously the M140i is the quicker car, especially in a straight line. Mine actually dynoed in at around 355 brake horsepower standard, which is 20 more than what BMW claim. The Minis tend to produce a little bit more than stated as well, but they will be blown away by the M-Lite on any road that isn't like a go-kart track. With that being said, you can use the power effortlessly in the 𝙁𝘾𝙀𝙁𝙁 without chancing going to jail every time you plant your right foot. With zero handling mods though, it all depends on how big your cojones are when it comes to blasting down a B road. I can honestly say that the roads I enjoy driving on are far more suited to the slightly less powerful Mini, and that's before I've swapped out the terrible run-flat tyres. The handling was the one thing that let the M140i down. It's a big, heavy hatchback, and although it wasn't horrific, it was miles behind the feeling you get when cornering in something that costs the same amount, like an S3 or an A45 AMG. Yes, it's never going to be able to compete with its 4-wheel drive counterparts, but I can honestly say I'd take the Mini over the M-Lite for any kind of hard driving, maybe barring a drag race. The steering provides a lot more feedback and feels so much sharper than the 140. Now, I think we can all agree that both of these cars would benefit from a few tweaks, so the next category I'm going to talk about is how easy they are to tune and modify them. Both cars have quite a large following, and the aftermarket support that comes with this doesn't disappoint. But the M140i nicks this one for me. I don't know whether it's because I haven't had the Mini long enough yet, but I personally feel like the M140i had a lot more to offer in terms of what's provided for you to change and how easy it is to do it as well. Aesthetically, the M2 bumper swap you can do on the M140i is one of the most visually pleasing mods I've seen done on any hot hatch, whilst still retaining that OEM look. Mini can't offer anything like that really because they all look pretty much the same. Handling mods like LSDs and coilovers are readily available for both hatchbacks. However, when it comes to tuning that power unit, the B58 doesn't just blow the Mini out of the water, but it blows 99% of other engines away too. It's not just the crazy power that you can achieve from a simple map, but it's also the fact you don't need a great deal of supporting mods like you need in the Mini to make the same amount of gains. A fuel pump and a sports cat on the B58 will see you close to 500 brake horsepower, whereas if you want to get yourself anywhere near the 400 club in the Mini, you're going to be talking clutches, intercoolers, turbos, intakes, a forged engine. You know, everything you would need to change on the majority of cars to make that power. The B58 engine in the M Lite is a freak of nature that'll quite happily take 650 brake horsepower on the standard block, and that's why it's won the tuning category. As far as practicality is concerned, there's not too much between them. You could quite easily jump in either of these with a passenger and do 300 miles without feeling like you've aged 40 years, which can't be said about every vehicle. The M140i isn't exactly a Range Rover, but it is a little bit larger than the JCW Mini, which has its ups and downs I guess. It may be a little bit harder to park, but at the same time you're getting a much bigger boot and back seats you can actually use without being a child or an amputee. Plus you have the option of a 5-door as well, so I have to give this one to the BM. Moving on to styling. This is a matter of opinion, so don't shoot me down, but it plays a big part in why we all choose the cars that we do. Looking at both cars from the outside in standard form, the M140i is just the better looking machine, isn't it? I've said in a previous video, I'm not a huge fan of the 𝙁𝘾𝙀𝙊𝙆 fake retro styling with the stripes and chrome, and even though these are probably the best OEM wheels you can pick, still pretty naff. The M140i on the other hand has a much more aggressive stance on the road, and I like that. The one major issue I have with Mini in general is the fact you can buy a Cooper or a Cooper S with the 𝙁𝘾𝙀𝙁 body kit on it, which kind of feels like cheating to me. Surely the people paying a premium to have the next model up should have some kind of defining element to do with the styling on the car. And I know the BMW doesn't necessarily have a great deal different to the rest of the range below them, but it still has some. Even if they were the first things that I changed when I had mine. Inside though, and this will definitely split opinions, I prefer the Mini. Even though they are vastly different, this is one place you can tell they share some of the same genetics. In fact, the iDrive on the Mini is easier to use. Apart from the armrest, which has been put in at such an awkward height in the 𝙁𝘾𝙀𝙁, meaning you can't change gear without being a contortionist, I prefer the way the Mini looks in the cab. Not gonna lie, the pan roof plays a massive part in this, but even daft things you wouldn't normally consider, like being able to change the interior lights on a night, actually makes this a really nice place to sit in. And although it was built in Oxford, it reeks of German build quality. You can do 100 miles an hour, on a private road of course, and just like the M140i, it's silent. Finally, let's talk about the running costs. Surprise, surprise, the Mini is the cheaper car to run day to day. Not only is it the better car on fuel on long runs, it's more efficient when you've got the accelerator pedal pinned to the floor as well. Weirdly, the tax is a little bit more, I don't know how they work that one out. But there's a massive reduction in my insurance premium between the M140i and this, which again is no surprise. So then, after all of that, there's not a great deal between them in my opinion. It all comes down to what you're going to be using the car for. If you don't have a family to lug around and you just want to be road basher, the 𝙁𝘾𝙀𝙁𝙁 might be more suited to you. But if you're an established businessman who only cares about draggy times, then the M140i will most likely be your weapon of choice. Which one do I prefer? I still think the M140i, but ask me that question again in a couple of years' time once I've clocked a few more miles under my belt in this. That's it for now though. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed it. Remember to leave a comment and subscribe to the channel to enter this month's giveaway completely free to be in with a chance of winning those detailing products. And yeah, as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.